in this kind of situation where Afghanistan is in war and you're painting this thing over here, you are brave. And that gives me courage, that when people gives us that positive comments and when they join us in the painting and they're like, okay, let me also do it.
Welcome. You're listening to the Young Changemakers podcast. In these episodes, your co-hosts Sarah, George, and Anastasia will be talking to passionate young individuals from around the world to explore how they are making lasting impact in their local communities. So cozy up, listen in, because inspiring stories are waiting to be heard and power lies within you. Hi everyone, Anastasia here for the 8th episode of the season. Hope you're well, safe, happy wherever you are tuning in from. Today I'm sitting down to talk with Omar, who is currently working with ArtLords, an NGO based in Afghanistan that aims to turn public opinions into beautiful artworks. Since 2014, ArtLords, which by the way is a wordplay on the word warlords and drug lords, empowers a collective of artists and volunteers to put some of the country's politics into paintings, aiming to really reflect the city's atmosphere. I know that this is a podcast, but I highly recommend that you take a look at the websites and have a look at their paintings whilst you're listening to this conversation. These murals are seriously thought-provoking. They are stunning. They are amazing. Go check out the website right now, right this second. Go look at the show notes and check it out. Honestly, it's worth it. Anyway, in the episode, we talk about how art does actually have an impact on the community and the various ways that one can express their opinion. So let's get into the episode. Welcome, Omar, to the Young Changemakers podcast. How are you today? Joining us from Afghanistan.
I'm doing good, Anna. Thanks for the invitation for the call, and thanks for giving me the time to be over here with you and talking almost face to face.
Almost face to face.
Yes, because we are not in the same place, so it's almost face to face.
Almost. It's like as best as we can during these interesting times. Mama, I'd love to understand a little bit more about what you do with ArtLords and maybe a little bit about yourself. Maybe get started and just tell the listeners about yourself and who you are.
Okay, I've been working with ArtLords since 2016. Right now I'm working as a project manager with them, but before I was I have worked as an artist with them. And about the ArtLords, I would say since Afghanistan is a place where there is a war since 40 years now. It's been 40 years there's war in Afghanistan. And there are a lot of warlords over here. So the movement started that there are so many warlords, we want to be ArtLords. So that's how the name came, ArtLords. And since there are another thing happening in Afghanistan is everybody is, especially the government, the rich people, we could say, or the international organizations, they cover their buildings or their what we say offices with huge T walls, we call it. It's concrete walls, it's blast walls. And the color of those walls are gray.
Like a gray color, yeah.
Yes, it's a concrete. We sometimes call Kabul as a concrete city because you could only see gray walls around the Kabul. So the movement started that why shouldn't we paint these walls and make it beautiful and claim those space back which belongs to the public. And that's how it started with painting on these gray walls to give it a better view. So somebody passing by that, they shouldn't get depressed or they shouldn't look at those gray walls and just ignore it. So we started painting on them. And with painting, slowly, we developed different messages for people. The first campaign run by ArtLords was I See You. It's the painting of two eyes, which says corruption is not hidden from the gaze of people and God. Since corruption is very high in Afghanistan, so that gives a very direct message to the people who are corrupt and who are on top of this corruption list. And so they should know that the people are aware of what they're doing. So that's where it started. And we did different kind of campaigns in using these blast wall for painting. We did even for polio to use those 2 drops of polio. The paintings were done on the walls. And in some cases, we painted the real heroes of the city, who are the cleaners, who cleans the city, the soldiers of the country. Those, they were painted. So yeah, different messages were painted during this years. And yeah, since 2014, yeah.
Wow, no, that is amazing. I love as well that I was actually going to ask, like, how did you guys come up with the name Art Lords? And then I love that
Yeah.
you've taken something so negative, like, you know, like that concept of a warlord, and you've like really like put a positive spin on it, which is really beautiful. And, you know, given the power back to the community almost in this.
Yes, we have given those space which belong to the community has to come back to the community. And even those people who are hiding behind those blast walls, they have to know that the the walls are making the city very ugly. So these painting on the walls, these graphics and stuff, they gives a little bit beauty to the streets of Kabul.
Yeah, I was looking at the website earlier before we had a chat, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like it's so, yeah, like you were saying, like just the concrete, it being so gray. And then when you suddenly have like
Yes.
paint on it and like these beautiful images, I'm sure as artists, like you're, you know, thinking about all the colors and that kind of stuff. Like it's yeah, quite beautiful. And I think like it really definitely brings it to light. And I can't imagine what
And
it would look like in
also,
person.
the picture messages have a very deep impact on the audience rather than just writing, or rather than a video or something. The
Yeah.
picture on the wall gives a very deep message to the people, and a deep understanding. Because most of these paintings, they are done by volunteers. So the people who pass by, we ask them to paint with us. So once the sketch is done, then we just stand on the street for the whole day. Mostly we do one painting in 3 to 4 days. So when the people are passing by, we ask them to paint with us. And different people, like from security personnel to just vendors, or to the people who are selling on the street, or the children, they come and paint with us, and then they get some good feeling about that, and
Yeah.
they feel that they are getting back their space.
Yeah, I was just thinking that like it's almost like they're part of, like they've become part of the artwork too. And
Yeah,
then as they walk by, they're like, yeah, like I did that. Like I did part of
yeah.
that and
So
helped.
whenever that person passed by that painting again, he remembers that I did that part of the painting.
Wow, that's amazing. I was just like, yeah, like that. For me, like one of the things that I really love doing is like making pottery. It's like a really random thing, but I really love making. The listeners can't see this, but I'm showing Omar like one of the things I've made recently.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very
that looks
cute.
good.
So
And
I
it looks
love,
cute.
yeah, right. Like it's really, really small. No one can see this, but it's like one of my pottery designs. But basically, like whenever I look at it, I'm just like, oh, like there's a sense of pride that I get, even though it's small. Yeah, like you, because you've made it, like there's something you know, empowering about it. So I can just only imagine what that feels like for the local community there. So I guess like I would imagine though, because it's always been like concrete prior to this, right? How did you guys even get the chance to even build this? Because I imagine there would have been so many quote unquote roadblocks of actually
Yes, there
getting
are.
there. Yeah, like so many different challenges, so many loopholes, especially with like government and all that kind of stuff. Like how did you approach that when you guys like starting from the ground up?
Well, we in before the painting starts anywhere in the city, we have to get an permission from the government.
Yeah.
Without that, doesn't work. But if the walls belong to someone, some it's a private property, then we talk to the owner of that property and we tell them that, can we just paint on your wall, and you don't have to do anything.
We'll
Okay,
make
it's
it look
on us.
pretty for
You just tell us that, yeah, you can paint on the wall. So,
Yeah.
but if it's a government building or something like that, then we have to take the permission from the government. That thing that especially then it gets to the bureaucracy of the government, and it takes some time. And eventually, even if some of, since the walls are all over the city, there is we have a lot of space. So if one office tells us no, don't paint over here, we have other places as well. And since now it's been common in Kabul, we have worked a lot over here. people really appreciate it. So when we approach in these years, when we approach to some office or to some government or other organizations about we want to paint on your wall, they really welcome us, because it gives a very beautiful view to their office or to their environment as well. For example,
Yeah.
their employees see that, okay, there is something beautiful painted outside our office. Before it was just a gray concrete.
Yeah, of course. Like it definitely like would, get them excited about the day
Yeah,
and
even
that
it
kind of
gives
thing.
some moral to them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like gets them excited and, boost their morale. I guess then like with some of the messages that are a little bit more maybe controversial or you're trying to really like push, a
Yes,
certain message,
some
like
of the
how does that,
messages are very
yeah,
political,
yeah, how does that
especially
get around?
when we are working against the corruption. The first campaign started with ICU, and the second one was there is a organization called CIGAR, which was commissioned by the Congress of America to check out on the corruption level of Afghanistan, that how the money which comes to Afghanistan has been spent. And in their report, they publish a report in every quarter. And in their report, it came that from the Afghan government is stealing money even from the food of their soldiers. The corruption is that high. So we did another campaign on that. In that sense, we painted the vehicles of those people. Mostly they used Land Cruisers black with tint glasses with all black. So we painted their Land Cruisers and we wrote down there that they are stealing from the food of the soldiers. And yes, it does create a lot of problems for us. Like right now, ArtLords is a target for every kind of group who against whom we are painting and stuff. And yes, so we are staying low. The address of the ArtLords is not very much popular over here. People don't know where our office is, and yeah, we try to stay low.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be probably the best
Yeah, it's
approach
the
right
best
now.
choice.
Yeah, just like even, the safety of you guys. I mean, thank you. I appreciate even so much as you like sharing right now and like, telling us about like how you guys started and everything's going. I guess then, I mean, this is all about like art lords. For you personally, like you had mentioned that you were, an artist. Like, how did you find yourself I guess kind of passionate about art in the first place? And then how did you get
Well, I
involved like with
had
art
this
lords?
interest with art since I was a child, and since my school time, I used to sketch, and slowly I developed to work on. Since after when I was in seventh standard, I was able to have a computer and stuff. So I was from paper and pen, I came to the Photoshop and Illustrator and all those
Just evolving
apps.
constantly.
Yes,
Just like
and
from pen to paper and then to
yeah.
tech.
And so I was with that, and then I got to know about ArtLords, that this is something I could work with them. And over here, and they take even classes for it's volunteer free classes for people who wants to learn art. And yeah, that was the journey.
Nice. I love that. And it's great as well that you're, kind of able to come from there from like, volunteering and then, becoming part of the team, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite cool. I guess like from what has kind of surprised you like throughout of all of this, especially when you're like interacting with the community, you're asking every like 3 to 4 days, you're like standing in front of an artwork and getting people to interact with it. Like what has been the most surprising experience with that? Because I imagine you come across like so many different people
Yeah.
whilst you're doing something that's so cooperative, like with so many people involved.
Well, from the people we get different comments. There are positive comments as well. There are negative comments as well. Especially when we are painting a face, there are a lot of negative comments because painting a face is forbidden in Islam. Especially in a community like Afghanistan, if you're painting a face, people will tell you that it's forbidden. Literally on the street, they tell you that why are you even painting it, or why are you wasting the paint? You could paint something else, or a flower, or a tree, or something like that. But also we get positive comments from people, like they tell us that in this kind of situation where Afghanistan is in war and you're painting this thing over here, you are brave. And that gives me courage, that when people gives us that positive comments, and when they join us in the painting and they're like, okay, let me also do. And whenever I paint on the street, Whoever passed by, I ask them, come on, come join me. Even though
Yeah.
when those people give me a negative comment also, that this is forbidden in Islam, that you cannot paint a face, I tell them to take the brush and come on, join me, then let's talk. And sometimes it happens, most of the time they just, since it's most of the people are very deeply religious over here, they cannot take anything against Islam. The society is 99% Muslim, so they don't take anything against the religion. But sometimes when some of those people who takes part in the painting, their perspective changes, and they're
Mm.
like, okay, this is cool, there's
Yeah.
nothing bad about that, and they think like this is cool.
Yeah,
So that surprised me when their perspective changes with one painting.
nice. So that's amazing. And it's great that you're, able to unite people like over a painting. Like actually for me personally, I am Muslim. So one thing that I really like kind of anchor on myself with Islam is that there is this really big pillar within Islam, which is focusing on social justice and how we should
Yeah.
be fighting equality and standing up for what's right. Right. So I feel like in this kind of case, I mean, this is personally just from my perspective, that you are standing up for social justice. Like if you're seeing injustice, like, okay, we should be changing that, and that isn't right. So it's quite, I feel like, yeah, in that sense, it is almost advocacy in that way. Like, and it is like could be supported in Islam as well. Yeah, so it's good.
So yep.
Yeah, no, it's quite cool. I guess in terms of, you guys have made like so many different artworks, right? And so many different
Yeah.
ones around the city. Which one has been like your personal favorite?
My personal favorite is the two eyes, which says the I see you. The corruption is not hidden from people. That's my personal, because the people who are corrupt, when they see that painting, I'm sure they think about it. That yes, I'm a corrupt person, and people know that. It's like it's not hidden anymore from anyone. So I'm sure that it hurts them, and it make them realize that what they're doing is not hidden from people.
Hi there, we hope you're enjoying this episode so far. There's a lot more that we can do. The Global Changemakers mission is to support youth to create positive change towards more inclusive, fair and sustainable communities. We do this by providing skills development, capacity building, mentoring and grants. Head to our website, globalchangemakers.net, to learn more. Now, on with the rest of the episode.
It's interesting that that one's quite fair, because it is quite stark as well. Like definitely whoever's listening, like make sure to look up the photo. It's really, really good. I think it's almost like, yeah, it's definitely in your face. So it's really good. What else has been like the biggest...
Because to the corrupt people, it's a message on their face. It's a kind of slap on their face that what you're doing is not hidden. We know that what you're doing.
Yeah, like it's just like, hey, like you can't even lie to us anymore.
And
like,
since Afghanistan has been on top of the corruption list of international since many years now. Before Somalia was on top, now Afghanistan is on top. So it's directly compared to Somalia. And it's nothing to be proud of. We're really ashamed of that thing, that the government is not able to achieve what they have promised to the international community, that they are going to decrease the corruption or work against the corruption. For example, the Cigar says that in their report that Afghanistan is what they're doing against the corruption is only on paper and in the conferences, nothing in action.
Wow. That's crazy. And that really, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, like you said, not something to be proud of.
I think one of the reasons the security is not improving is corruption. And the security is going worse on day by day. If we compare 6 months before and now, the IED explosion has spiked. It's like 6 months before there was 1 or 2 in a week. Now there is 3 to 4 in a day. And all high value, high profile people are targeted.
Like, I mean, for me, like living in a country that like definitely hasn't experienced something like how do you, yeah, like I'm just trying to understand, like, how do you even,
well, it
like, how does that become a reality?
Normal.
Yeah,
I think that's the human psychology, that humans are able to survive anywhere, and it becomes part of your normal. Like when I drive to the office, In the morning, I check out like, okay, where there was a blast, because if there is a blast somewhere, then the road is blocked for a few hours until they clean the area. So I check out where is the blast, and then I take my route from another way, because I know that I'll be stuck over there in traffic. It becomes part of the normal.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where like it's been close, like in terms of the blast, like to you, and you've gotten a little bit shaken up by
Yeah,
it?
we have. I have like, I think last week. Yeah, last week there was a blast near our office itself.
Wow.
I think one of the police officers, he was the head of the uh, fifth district of police. He was targeted, and I passed by that like the in 5 minute difference. So when I passed by his car, I was able to see that his car was still burning, and there was firefighters on the street. And then I was thinking with myself that, okay, even in the office, me with my colleagues, we talk about it, that we are living over here by chance.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of minutes that you could be in a wrong place.
Yeah. And I guess that's like you were saying earlier, that's just the reality that
That's the reality you have to accept. That's the new normal for us.
Yeah.
Like in Afghanistan, I don't remember a single day where there was peace since I'm born. It's worse. I don't remember peace over here.
Yeah, that's really like even like that's quite sad. Like and like I said, like I feel like whenever I like hear these stories, I can't think like the amount of privilege I have just being born in the country. I mean, right now I'm in Singapore, but normally I live in Australia. Like born and raised in Australia. Yeah, just having that chance to be able to live in like these kinds of countries and not have to conceptualize that is, like I just feel that now. So really hope that hopefully sometime soon it does get better. And through your paintings and things that you guys are doing, like that's moving the government in the right direction of, mitigating all of this corruption.
At least we give them the message that what we're doing is
doing the good work, Omar. You and the
yeah.
team are doing the good work.
Yeah.
That's good. I did see on the website as well, you guys have like seven offices. Is that right? 7 offices and 1 office
We have
in the US.
in 2020 we established an office in US, and in Afghanistan we have 6 offices, 5
6
in
offices.
provinces, 1 in Kabul, and with the office in US it becomes 7 offices.
Beautiful.
The expansion happened this year in 2020.
Okay, amazing. No, that's good. And I mean, that's great to hear as well that you guys have been able to expand.
But even before that, we used to work in almost, I think, 18 to 20 provinces of Afghanistan we have painted.
Wow. Okay.
Before our artists have to travel to these other provinces. But now, since we have offices in 5 corners of Afghanistan, each office covers the neighboring province.
Okay, so that's good then. So you can take that easy. How this might sound like a silly question because I'm not quite familiar, but like how far is it in between like each of the different provinces in Afghanistan?
Since the infrastructure of the road is very bad, all the roads are destroyed, and the highway which we have from Kabul to Kandahar to Herat, that's the one of the ring roads or the national highways. It's beyond repair. Okay, a new highway had to be built. It's not built yet, but it's beyond repairs, and because of the war, because of the blasts, and mostly it's damaged by IEDs, which is the explosive devices. And usually it takes by vehicle, it takes 2 days to go from one province to another. Not in the neighboring, but in the far provinces, I say. But in the neighboring provinces of Kabul, if I say, it takes 1 day because of the infrastructure of the roads are bad. So the maximum a vehicle could go on average will be 45 kilometers an hour.
Oh,
that would be the average speed.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like, wow, like that's a long time. But now I'm thinking, okay, because you're going.
The movement is very slow.
Okay, and that's because like, is it a lot of like curves in the road?
No, the roads are.
Like as in, like, are you going like it's not a highway?
Yeah.
Like it's not a highway.
It's not a highway. It's damaged. It was built as a highway, but it's damaged so much that now there are potholes everywhere. The bridges are collapsed. So where the bridges is collapsed, now the vehicles have to get into the river and then cross it because there is no other way. So that kind of stuff makes it make the journey very slow. And plus, on the way, we do get sometimes we get checkpoints of the Taliban, which are very much against our work, the Taliban. They are against the painting and everything. So that creates problem.
Okay. I guess like I would have, because one of the questions I want to ask, so like, what has been your biggest challenge like throughout all of this? I imagine that's a pretty big challenge whenever
Yeah,
that
well,
comes
the
up.
biggest challenge I
Yeah.
think is the security situation over here.
Mm.
Because our office could be right now, we every day when I get my vehicle to the office, I ask the guards we have in the office to check it under the to check my vehicle, even under the vehicle, the trunk and everything, so nobody has to stick a bomb inside that if I come to the office and it blasts over here. So I get my vehicle checked outside on the street and then I get inside.
Like crazy. And like, I guess then, like from what I'm hearing, like all of these challenges and all that, you're like, what I love is that you guys still are so committed to the mission
We
and the
have to still
cause.
push it,
Yeah.
because if they are not taking a day off for destruction of
Yeah.
Afghanistan, even we are not taking any day off from for making it better.
That's honestly like admirable. I'm so like in awe of the great work that you guys are doing. What
Thank
do you
you.
feel? What do you feel like has been your biggest, I guess, like lesson, or I say like lesson or like proudest moment, like in all of like since like you started working with the
When my
team?
proudest moment is when I be with my friends, or when I be with my relatives, and when we pass off those paintings we have done on the walls, and they say that, oh, that's your work or that's your office work. That I really feel proud of that.
Yeah.
Or especially when I tell someone whom I don't know, and I tell them that I work with the ArtLords, and then they tell us, oh, you are the guys who paint all over on the street. Oh, that's amazing, or that's beautiful. I really feel proud of that,
Yeah, no, that's cool. And then
because
like
it's
being
something
recognized for
nobody
that is
else is
cool.
doing. Yeah,
Mm,
nobody else is doing it in Kabul. Not in
yeah.
Kabul, even in whole Afghanistan, nobody is doing this kind of work.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like I think when I first like saw you guys and read about it, like yeah, I would have never thought like even the case as well, and that you've been able to create such good positive energy, like even within a place where it can be quite sad and negative and feel quite restricted. So it's really awesome. Um, like I feel like in just my experience, like here in Singapore, I've forgotten the name of it, but there's something very similar to what you guys do here in Singapore. I'll send it through maybe afterwards. But oh my god, no, I can't
Yeah, I would
remember.
like
But
to look at that.
yeah, it's basically like a really. Oh wait, I think it's called Participate in Design, something like that. But basically, like the NGO works together with the community, and they'll make like some kind of mural in. It's called a HCB, and it's like the government buildings here, housing buildings here, and they'll make it really pretty and nice because usually the government just makes it one color. So they'll like put a nice design together, and the whole community will design that artwork together. So that's why I feel like it's probably like the closest relation
Yeah,
I
I
see
think
something
it's
like this
very
with you
close
guys.
to our work. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like very close to your work. And so it's
Because even we use the community and ask them voluntarily to come paint with us.
yeah, exactly. Like that's what I love as well. Like that you've just been able to get complete strangers off the street, and then together
Yeah.
you've been able to create something so beautiful.
And from those strangers, amazing stories come out. Like when they're painting, then they start narrating their own stories, that what's happening in their side, or since most of the stories are from war and stuff like that, and they start talking about it, that where they come from and how they're surviving over here. We call it surviving over here. We don't call it living.
Honestly, like so much admiration right now, Omar.
Yeah.
Just like, what the heck? Like, it's so, yeah, like you guys are doing honestly such great work. Like, now I feel kind of stupid asking this, but like, who, because I feel like you're my role model right now from like listening to all this. Like, who has been like your kind of biggest role model throughout all of this? Or is there anyone who you really are inspired by?
Well, I'm inspired by our creative director. His name is Kabir Mukamil. He's an Australian citizen, and he's been in Afghanistan since 2010. And he's originally from Afghanistan, and he gives us the inspiration. And it was his idea to take back the space from people from these blast wall and make the city look a bit beautiful.
So, so
So
he, Sorry, go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, no, so he's the one who had like given you the inspiration to
Yeah.
start this. Oh, wow. Okay. That's quite amazing.
And
So,
most of the ideas are comes from him, and
mm,
he gives us an idea. We work on developing those ideas and stuff like that, and we put it on walls, and yeah. And sometimes he takes part in those paintings, but mostly he just put on the idea and makes those pictures and give it to us, like take this and paint it over there.
nice. So that's cool. And I love that, like, yeah, like he's giving those
I think
ideas.
I'll be able to share some of his interviews with you, which was on Al Jazeera, I guess.
Oh, wow. Okay. We'll definitely make sure to put that in the show notes of the podcast too. We can add in some cool links and stuff. So anyone listening, if they wanted to check that out as well, we
Yeah.
can be able to put it in. So that would be good. I guess like, oh, sorry, you go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I guess maybe from all of this, if someone listening on the podcast is like, yeah, I want to do this for my local community, I feel like there's something there, like there needs to be some kind of spruce up new place. What would you like give as a piece of advice to them if they wanted to get started on something similar to this?
I think if somebody is planning, they should start right now. They can do it. And it's a very easy thing. It may look difficult, but it's very easy. Always the difficult is the first step. So once you take the first step, it happens by itself. Like the whole painting happens. I think they should go for it. It will give them a very joy and happiness or peace, and if they're doing that in their community, and whoever pass and whenever they pass by that painting, they will feel the joy, because I feel the joy. And whenever I pass by the murals which ArtLords has done, I feel proud, I feel joy, and it gives me a smile on my face, and I'm like, yeah, that's something good.
That's it. No, that's good. Yeah, I feel like if there's that, yeah, that sense of like ownership of it too. Like, yeah, like I am
Yeah.
a part of this space. Like this space is just as much mine as it is anyone else's. So yeah, no, definitely agree. That first step, man, it is hard. Sometimes it gets very difficult, but once it definitely starts, then
Yes.
yeah, that momentum, it just comes.
That the first step takes a lot of time, and once you take that, you get to know that, yeah, I could have done this before. So I would give them advice to start right now.
Nice. That sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you. I mean, so much, Omar. I've learned so much about, ArtLords today. If anyone listening also wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best method to do so? If there is any way, if not, also fine.
Well, they could get in touch with us through our website. It's artlords.co.
Yeah.
And also our Facebook page. We are there on all the social media: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You could just look for ArtLords, and you could directly get in touch with us. On our website, there is the landline of office. It's available. And in Afghanistan time, I would say the office is open from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Amazing. Sounds good.
And we do have a gallery in our office, and it's open for public. They could always come and take a look of the gallery.
Wow, that is very, very cool. A whole gallery. That would be really nice, I imagine. Like on canvas or like different materials or
Yeah, there are more than 900 paintings in the gallery.
wow. Okay, that
Yeah,
is
and
a
when
gallery,
someone
yes.
visits the gallery, it takes their whole day. And we even sell some of the materials, but when people try to come and buy, they get confused which one I should get
Yeah,
first.
like, oh my gosh, I want to do a whole collection. As
Yeah.
well, listeners can't see, but my roommate, who I live with, really loves artwork. So she actually,
Yeah, I could see in the background that they look good.
all her. Well, thank you so much, Omar, for joining us today. Like I said earlier, learned so much. Definitely wishing you guys all the best and continue to do such great work. And yeah, looking forward to keeping in touch with you soon.
Yes, I would share with you the links which I have with the interviews of the ArtLords and the ArtLord Gallery website as well. You could take a look, and maybe if you or any of your friends like any piece, we could send you. That's possible. We send our art pieces all over the world. You just go through it if anything you like.
Cool.
And it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm so glad. I definitely will look out and see if there's any artwork that looks good.
Yep.
Too good. Thank you.
Great. And what time is it over there? I didn't get it. It's night or something?
It's about 10 o'clock here in Singapore at the
Okay.
moment. It's a little bit late.
Okay, I would say then good night. Because
worries.
still it's 6:38 p.m. over here, and it's evening. There is a little bit light outside, but I think that's it.
Thank you, Omar. We'll speak soon.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Take care.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Remember to help us create a greater impact by sharing this and encouraging everyone on your social media to take a listen. If you want to reach out, you can contact the hosts via podcast@global-changemakers.net, or feel free to message us on Instagram @globalchangemakers and Twitter @wearegcm. We'll be very happy to talk to you and answer any questions. Remember to follow us and subscribe to this podcast. See you in the next episode. Take care.